Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome back to English Drill Zone. It's great to have you here again. This is your special place to practice your English listening and learn about interesting things together. I'm your host, ready to chat with you today. So, today we are going to talk about something that maybe many of us know very well. Maybe you are even doing it right now while listening. Chuckles softly. Yes, we are talking about procrastination. What is procrastination? It's that little voice inside your head. It says, "Oh, I can do that homework later." Or maybe, "I just need to quickly check my phone one more time before I start cleaning." That's procrastination. Procrastination is the habit, the usual action of delaying tasks. It means putting things off, especially the important things we need to do. Instead of doing the important task, we often choose to do something easier, something less important, or maybe something more fun. For example, maybe you need to study for a big English test tomorrow. But instead, you decide to watch funny videos online, or play a game, or maybe just tidy up your pencils perfectly. It feels better right now, doesn't it? Like choosing to eat cake instead of vegetables. The cake is nice now, but maybe not the best choice for later. Putting off cleaning your room to watch another episode of your favorite TV show feels good in the moment. But what happens afterwards? Sighs lightly. Often, that feeling of worry or guilt, feeling bad because you didn't do what you should have, starts to come. Stress comes too. So, in today's episode, we won't just talk about what procrastination is. That's the easy part. We are going to look deeper. We will explore why we procrastinate. Why do our brains tell us to wait? We will also understand the impact, the results of this habit on our lives. What happens when we always delay? And most importantly, the best part, we will discover real, practical strategies, simple steps and ideas to help us stop procrastinating. We want to find our productivity flow, that feeling when work feels easier and we get things done. Are you ready to face this challenge with me? Let's begin this journey together. Short musical interlude. Gentle and thoughtful music, easy to listen to. Host. Okay, so let's ask the big question. Why? Why do we procrastinate? It's very easy to just say, "Oh, I'm just lazy." But usually, it's not that simple. The real reasons are often deeper, inside our minds and feelings. And understanding these reasons, knowing why we do it, is really the very first step if we want to change this habit. So, let's look at some common reasons. One big reason is fear. Yes, being afraid. What kind of fear? Well, it could be fear of failure. We worry, what if I try but I don't do a good job? Or, what if people laugh at me or criticize my work? Sometimes, a task just looks so difficult, so big, that we are afraid we cannot do it at all. When we feel this fear, what do? We often avoid the task. We don't start. Why? Because not starting feels safer than trying and maybe failing. Think about this example. Imagine you have to give a presentation, speak in front of your class or colleagues. That can be scary. You might worry about forgetting your words or saying something silly. Or maybe the audience won't be interested. This fear can feel really strong, almost paralyzing, like you can't move. Because of this fear, it's very tempting, very easy, to put off preparing the presentation. You tell yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll start after lunch." You delay until the very last minute. Another interesting reason is perfectionism. Perfectionism means wanting everything to be perfect. Exactly right. How can wanting things to be perfect make us delay? It seems like perfectionists would start early. But here's the problem. Perfectionists often set goals that are too high. Their standards are impossible. Nobody can reach them. They think, if I cannot do this task absolutely perfectly, 100% right, then it's better not to do it at all. So, they might spend hours and hours planning the task. They think about every small detail, but they never actually start doing the work. Why? Because they are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, the perfect feeling. But guess what? The perfect moment often never comes. It's like trying to write the perfect story. You want every word to be amazing. So, you write the first sentence, then you read it. Not perfect. You delete it and write it again, and again, and again. You spend all your time on the first sentence and never get to the rest of the story. That's how perfectionism can lead to procrastination. Sometimes we procrastinate simply because we feel overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means feeling like something is too much, too big, too difficult to handle. When a task looks huge or very complicated, we might not even know where to begin. What is the first step? What comes next? It feels confusing. Think about a really big project. Maybe your goal is learn Spanish. Wow, that's a big goal. Where do you start? Grammar? Vocabulary? Speaking? Listening? It feels like a giant mountain to climb. Or maybe you have to write a very long report for school or work. Maybe 20 pages. Just thinking about 20 pages can make you feel stressed and lost. When we feel overwhelmed like this, we often turn to smaller, easier tasks. Why? Because finishing a small task makes us feel good, like we achieved something. So, instead of starting the big Spanish lesson or the long report, maybe you decide to check your email, or organize your desk, or make a cup of tea. These small things give you a quick feeling of success, but they don't help you finish the important big task. And then, of course, there is a very common reason: lack of motivation or finding the task boring or unpleasant. Some tasks are just not fun. Nobody enjoys everything. Think about doing laundry, washing dishes, filling out long, boring forms, or studying a subject you find really difficult or uninteresting. It's natural, it's normal, to want to avoid things we don't enjoy. We might tell ourselves, I'll do it when I feel more motivated, or I'll do it when I'm in the mood. But often, that special mood or motivation never arrives on its own. We have to create it. So, these are some of the main reasons: fear of failure, perfectionism, feeling overwhelmed, and lack of motivation, or finding the task boring. Maybe you recognize yourself in one of these? Or maybe it's a mix of different reasons at different times. It's really helpful to take a moment and think about your procrastination. When do you usually delay things? What kind of tasks do you avoid? And most importantly, what feelings come up when you think about doing that task? Are you feeling scared, stressed, bored, confused? Understanding your personal reasons is like finding the right key to unlock the problem. It helps you choose the best strategies to help yourself later on. We need to know the why before we can fix the how. Short musical interlude, slightly more upbeat, encouraging music. Host? Right, we've talked about why we might procrastinate. We understand some of the feelings and thoughts behind it. Now let's think about the results. What happens when we always put things off? Is it really a big problem? Delaying tasks is not harmless. It doesn't just disappear. It can have a real impact, real effects, on different parts of our lives. The most common effect, the one most people feel first, is increased stress and anxiety. Anxiety is that feeling of worry and nervousness. When you have an important task that you haven't finished, and the deadline, the time you must finish it by, is getting closer and closer. That task feels like a dark cloud hanging over your head. It creates a constant feeling of stress in the background, even when you are trying to relax or do something else. You can't fully enjoy your free time because you know that task is waiting. And what happens when you finally start? Usually at the last minute. You have to rush. Rushing is stressful. You feel panicked. You make mistakes. And the quality of your work, how good it is often much lower than it could be. Think about studying for an important exam only the night before. You stay up late, you drink lots of coffee, you feel tired and stressed. Maybe you manage to pass the exam, but the experience is terrible. And how much do you really learn and remember when you study like that? Probably not very much in the long term. Procrastination can also mean we have missed opportunities. Life is full of chances, opportunities for good things to happen. But if we delay, we might miss them. For example, maybe you see a job advertisement for a job you would really love. But you put off updating your CV, your work history document, and writing the application letter. You tell yourself, I'll do it this weekend. But then the deadline passes, and you missed the chance to even apply for your dream job. Or maybe you have a great idea for a personal project, like starting a blog or learning to play the guitar. But you keep putting off starting it. Months or even years can pass, and you never started. You missed the opportunity to learn something new or create something you care about. Waiting too long to sign up for a course or join a club can also mean you miss out because the places are all taken. These missed chances can be big regrets later. There's also the impact on our well-being and self-esteem. Well-being is our general feeling of health and happiness. Self-esteem is how we feel about ourselves, how much we value ourselves. When we constantly put things off, when we break promises to ourselves, it can make us feel really bad. We might feel guilty, ashamed, like you did something wrong, or inadequate, like you are not good enough. We might start to believe negative things about ourselves, like, I'm so lazy, or I have no discipline, or I can never finish anything. This negative self-talk really damages our confidence, our belief in ourselves. And this can create a very bad cycle, a loop. It works like this. You procrastinate, then you feel bad about yourself. Because you feel bad, you have less energy and motivation. And because you have less motivation, you procrastinate even more. It's a trap that's hard to get out of. And in some cases, procrastination can even affect our physical health. Living with constant stress, the stress from always delaying, always rushing, always feeling guilty, is not good for our bodies. Chronic stress, stress that continues for a long time, can cause problems like difficulty sleeping, headaches, or make us eat unhealthy food. It can weaken our immune system, making us get sick more easily. Furthermore, procrastination can sometimes damage our relationships with other people. If your delay causes problems for others, for example, if you miss a deadline for a team project at work or school, or if you are always late meeting friends because you put off getting ready, it can make people frustrated or angry with you. It can break trust. So, you see, putting things off might feel like an easy choice for a short moment. But the long-term cost, the price we pay later, can be very high. It affects our stress levels, our opportunities, our feelings about ourselves, our health, and even our relationships. But here is the really good news. Remember this: procrastination is a habit. It's something we learn to do. And the wonderful thing about habits is that they can be changed. We are not stuck with procrastination forever. We can learn new habits, hopeful and motivating, suggesting change is possible. We've explored the why and the what happens. Now for the most practical, the most useful part of our chat today. How? How do we actually stop procrastinating? How can we break out of this negative cycle and become more productive, less stressed, and feel better about ourselves? It's time for some real, actionable strategies. These are tools you can use starting today. First strategy: break it down. This is a classic, and it works. Why? Because large tasks often feel overwhelming, remember? Like that giant mountain. So, the idea is to break that big, scary task into much smaller, more manageable steps. Little pieces. Instead of having one huge goal like, I need to write this entire 20-page report. That sounds scary. Instead, break it down. Think, okay, what is the very first small step? Maybe the first step is just to open your computer and create a new document for the report. That's it. Just do that. Or maybe the first step is, I will write the title and my name. Or, I will write down 3 main ideas for the first section. See? These are small, easy steps. Another example: learning English. The goal, learn English, is huge. Break it down. Maybe your first step is find a good learning app or website. Your next step could be do one 10-minute lesson on the app today. Then, learn 5 new vocabulary words tomorrow. Each step is small and achievable. When you finish a small step, you feel good. You think, yes, I did it. This feeling gives you energy and motivation to do the next small step. It builds momentum. Like a ball rolling down a hill, it gets easier to keep going. Suddenly, the big scary task doesn't seem so scary anymore, because you are just focusing on the next small step in front of you. Okay, second strategy. Use time management techniques. This means using smart ways to organize and use your time. There are many techniques, but let's talk about 2 popular and simple ones that are great for B1 learners too. First, have you heard of the Pomodoro technique? Pomodoro is the Italian word for tomato. Why tomato? Because the person who invented this technique used a kitchen timer shaped like a tomato. But you can use any timer. Your phone timer is perfect. Here's how it works. You decide on the task you need to do, like studying English vocabulary. You set your timer for 25 minutes. For these 25 minutes, you work only on that task. No checking your phone, no getting coffee. Just focus hard on the task. When the timer rings after 25 minutes, ding, 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 you stop working. Now, you take a short break, usually about 5 minutes. Stand up, stretch, get some water, look out the window, but don't start another big task. After the 5-minute break, you set the timer for another 25 minutes and focus on your task again. You repeat this. 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break. Each 25-minute work period is called 1 Pomodoro. After you complete 4 Pomodoros, that's 4 sessions of 25 minutes work, and 3 short breaks, you take a longer break, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or even 30 minutes. Why does this work? Because 25 minutes doesn't feel very long. It's easier to tell yourself, okay, I can focus for just 25 minutes, than to think, I have to study for 3 hours. It helps you start, and the short breaks help your brain rest so you don't get too tired or bored. It prevents burnout, feeling completely exhausted and unable to work. Another useful technique is called time blocking. This is like making appointments with yourself in your calendar or diary. You decide when you are going to work on a specific task, and you block out that time. For example, you look at your week and say, okay, on Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., I will work on my English homework. You write it in your calendar, just like a doctor's appointment or a meeting with your boss. When Tuesday at 6 p.m. comes, you treat that time block seriously. It's not free time, it's time dedicated to that task. This helps because you don't have to decide when to do the task each day. The decision is already made. It creates structure and makes it harder to say, oh, I'll do it later. Third strategy, and this is a big one in our modern world, eliminate distractions. Distractions are things that pull your attention away from your task. We live in a world full of distractions. Our phones are probably the biggest distraction. Notifications popping up, messages coming in, interesting things happening on social media. It's so easy to get pulled away. Emails are another one. Maybe just the internet itself, with so many websites to look at. These things are major procrastination traps. They catch us and stop us from doing our work. So, what can we do? When it's time to focus on an important task, we need to be strong. Try turning off the notifications on your phone. Or even better, put your phone on silent mode or put it in a different room where you can't easily reach it. Close all the unnecessary tabs on your computer browser. You don't need Facebook or YouTube open when you are trying to write a report. Create a quiet workspace if possible. Find a place where you can concentrate, maybe a specific desk or corner in your room. Keep it tidy and free from clutter, too many messy things. The goal is to make it easy to focus on your task and hard to get distracted. Think about what distracts you the most and make a plan to remove or reduce that distraction during your work time. Fourth strategy, set realistic goals and deadlines. Sometimes we procrastinate not because the task is hard, but because our goal is not clear or it's just too big and unrealistic. We need goals that motivate us, not scare us. A great way to set good goals is to use the SMART method. SMART is an acronym. Each letter stands for a word. Specific. Your goal should be clear. What exactly do you want to achieve? Not just learn English, but maybe learn 50 new English vocabulary words related to food. Measurable. How will you know when you have reached your goal? You need a way to measure your progress. For the vocabulary goal, you can measure it by making flashcards and testing yourself until you know all 50 words. Achievable. Is your goal possible for you to reach? Don't set goals that are too difficult right now. Maybe learning 500 words in one day is not achievable, but 50 words in a week is. Your goal should stretch you a little, but not break you. Relevant. Is this goal important to you? Does it connect to your bigger plans or interests? If the goal is not relevant, you won't have much motivation to work on it. Time-bound. Your goal needs a deadline, a target date, or time. When do you want to achieve this goal by? Not just learn 50 words, but learn 50 words by next Friday. Having a deadline creates a sense of urgency, a feeling that you need to act soon, and helps you plan your time. So instead of a vague goal like, I want to be better at English, a smart goal could be, I will complete one B1 level grammar lesson on my English app every day, Monday to Friday, for the next 4 weeks. This is specific, measurable, 1 lesson per day. Achievable, if you have the time. Relevant, if you want to improve grammar. And time-bound, every day for 4 weeks. Setting realistic deadlines, even if you set them for yourself, self-imposed deadlines, helps you stay on track and avoid leaving things until the last minute. Fifth strategy, and this one sounds almost too simple, but it's powerful. Just start. Often, the most difficult part of any task is simply beginning. Getting started. We think about the task, we worry about it, we plan it, but we delay the actual doing. There's the great little rule called the 2-minute rule. It has 2 parts. 1. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. Right now. Don't put it on a list. Don't think about it. Just do it. Examples: washing your cup after drinking tea, putting your coat away, sending a quick reply email, taking out the rubbish. Doing these small things quickly stops them from piling up and makes you feel more organized. 2. For bigger tasks, tasks that will take longer than 2 minutes, commit to working on it for just 2 minutes. Tell yourself, okay, I don't want to write this whole essay now, but I will just sit down and write for 2 minutes. Or, I will just practice my guitar scales for 2 minutes. What often happens, once you start, even for just 2 minutes, it's much easier to keep going. Starting breaks the resistance, that feeling of not wanting to do it. The first step is often the highest wall to climb. Once you are over it, the path ahead looks easier. Sixth strategy: reward yourself. Humans learn better when there is positive reinforcement. A reward for doing something good. When you successfully complete a task, especially one you were procrastinating on, take a moment to acknowledge your achievement. Feel proud of yourself. And then, give yourself a small, healthy reward. What kind of reward? It doesn't have to be big or expensive. It could be something simple you enjoy. Maybe taking a 10-minute break to listen to your favorite music, making a nice cup of tea or coffee, stretching, going for a short walk outside, or watching one short, funny video. But be careful not to fall into another procrastination trap. The important thing is that the reward comes after you finish the task. This helps your brain connect finishing the task with a pleasant feeling. Over time, this makes you more willing, maybe even a little excited, to tackle your tasks because you know there's a nice little reward waiting for you at the end. It makes the work feel less like a punishment and more like a step towards something enjoyable. And finally, the seventh strategy, which is perhaps the most important one for our long-term well-being. Practice self-compassion. Compassion means being kind and understanding. Self-compassion means being kind and understanding towards yourself. Everyone procrastinates sometimes. Everyone. Even the most successful, productive people have days when they delay things. It is a normal human behavior. Procrastinating does not mean you are a bad person or lazy or a failure. So, what should you do when you realize you have procrastinated? Don't beat yourself up. Don't say horrible things to yourself like, "I'm so stupid. I always do this." This kind of negative self-talk only makes you feel worse, and it doesn't help you change. Instead, try to be kind. Acknowledge what happened. Okay, I procrastinated on that task today. Then, try to understand why it happened, without judgment. Remember our discussion about the reasons? Were you feeling scared, overwhelmed, bored? Understanding the reason helps you learn for next time. And then, gently, kindly, guide yourself back on track. Say to yourself, okay, that happened. But now I can make a different choice. I can start working on it for just 10 minutes now. Being kind and understanding to yourself when you make a mistake is much, much more effective for changing habits than being harsh and critical. Treat yourself like you would treat a good friend who is having a difficult time. So, those are 7 practical strategies. Break it down, use time management techniques like Pomodoro or time blocking, eliminate distractions, set SMART goals, just start using the 2-minute rule, reward yourself, and practice self-compassion. You don't have to try all of them at once. The key is to experiment. Try 1 or 2 strategies that sound interesting or useful for you. See how they work. Maybe the Pomodoro technique is perfect for you, or maybe breaking tasks down is the most helpful. Find your best combination. And remember, building new habits takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself. Don't expect to become perfect overnight. Celebrate the small improvements you make along the way. So, there we have it. We've spent some time together today talking all about procrastination. We learned it's a very common challenge, something many people face. It's not just about being lazy. It's often connected to deeper feelings like fear, perfectionism, or feeling overwhelmed. We also saw that procrastination isn't harmless. It can lead to more stress, missed opportunities, and lower self-esteem. But the most important message today is one of hope. Procrastination is a habit, and habits can absolutely be changed. We explored 7 practical strategies that you can start using right away. Remember them? Breaking big tasks into small steps, using time techniques like Pomodoro, removing those annoying distractions, setting clear SMART goals, using the 2-minute rule to just begin, rewarding your successes, and always, always being kind and compassionate to yourself. Remember, the goal isn't to become a super robot who is 100% productive every single minute of the day. That's not realistic or even healthy. The real goal is to make more conscious choices about how you spend your time and energy. It's about building better, healthier habits that reduce the stress and guilt that often come with putting things off. It's about finding your own comfortable flow, where you can get things done without feeling constantly pressured or overwhelmed. When you manage procrastination better, you free up your mental energy for the activities, people, and goals that truly matter to you in life. Thank you so much for joining me today here on English Drill Zone. I really hope this discussion about procrastination was interesting and, more importantly, helpful for you. Keep practicing your English listening, keep exploring new topics, and don't be afraid to face those tasks you've been avoiding. Remember, you can do it, one small, manageable step at a time. Until our next episode, please take good care of yourselves, be patient with your progress, and keep smiling.